In the early 2000s, the idea of a mega-rich foreigner owning a top English club was unheard of. Today, it's almost a requirement. How has it reshaped football forever? In June 2003, Chief Executive Trevor Birch sat down with an unknown Russian businessman named Roman Abramovich to discuss a possible takeover. 15 minutes later, the landscape of football shifted forever. A handshake sealed the deal. £140 million for Chelsea Football Club. £60 million secured ownership, while the remaining £80 million cleared the club's debts. The Abramovich era had begun. At the start of the month, 3 days after sealing the deal, Abramovich sat for an interview. When asked if the acquisition was purely a financial play, he simply smiled and replied, "No, it's not about making money. It's about having fun, and that means success and trophies." Reflecting on his years at Chelsea, those words ring true. Although his investment multiplied dramatically, growing from the £140 million he paid in 2003 to the club's eventual sale for £2.5 billion in 2022, this profit was a byproduct of the sweeping transformation Chelsea experienced under his stewardship. Fast forward to Abramovich's first transfer window, and his ambition was already on full display. He splashed out £111 million on new players, securing stars like Claude Makelele from Real Madrid, Juan Sebastian Veron from Manchester United, and Hernán Crespo from Inter Milan. To grasp how unprecedented this spending was, consider that the previous record for the most spent by an English club in a single season belonged to Manchester United, who shelled out £58.6 million during the 2001-2002 season. Abramovich's first foray into the transfer market set a new bar, foreshadowing the scale of his ambitions at Chelsea. Under Abramovich's ownership, Chelsea's trophy cabinet swelled with silverware. The club claimed 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 2 Europa League titles, and 2 Champions League crowns, among numerous other honors. Over the course of his tenure, Abramovich invested a staggering £2 billion to ensure Chelsea's place at the top, with much of that sum devoted to transfers and player salaries. So how exactly did this impact football? Roman Abramovich's success at Chelsea didn't go unnoticed. Soon after, clubs like Manchester City and PSG attracted wealthy foreign investors eager to replicate his model. This marked the dawn of football's new era, where deep pockets often dictated success. Since Abramovich's takeover, the only English club with more trophies than Chelsea is Manchester City. Similarly, after QSI, backed by the Qatari government, acquired PSG in 2011, PSG went on to win 10 of the last 12 league titles. Before the takeover, they had only won it twice in their entire history. Abramovich's influence extended beyond trophies. Transfer fees skyrocketed and player salaries followed. When Abramovich signed Hernán Crespo for Chelsea, he became the Premier League's highest earner at £94,000 per week. The following season, Frank Lampard overtook him with a new contract. A year later, Steven Gerrard became the league's top earner when Liverpool matched Chelsea's offer to lure him away. At various points, players like Andriy Shevchenko and John Terry also topped the Premier League wage charts. Today, Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne earns £400,000 per week. Close behind is his teammate Erling Haaland at £375,000. In Europe, PSG's Mbappé was reported to be earning around £1 million per week at PSG. The rapid financial escalation didn't go unnoticed. In 2009, UEFA introduced financial fair play, FFP, to level the playing field and prevent clubs from overspending. The Premier League followed with its own version in 2011. Officially, FFP aimed to prevent clubs from going bankrupt. Unofficially, it was a response to curb Abramovich-style ownership from dominating the game. Yet, even with regulations, wealthier clubs continued to push the limits. Manchester City, for example, is currently under investigation for alleged FFP breaches stretching back over a decade. Success in modern football demands financial strength, and Abramovich's influence triggered another shift. Clubs were now under pressure to find new ways to generate income and increase spending power. Abramovich was strategic. He didn't just invest in marquee signings, but also heavily funded Chelsea's academy. Over time, it became one of the best in the world. Academy graduates were often sold for profit, helping to strengthen strengthen the first team. By 2019, Chelsea had 42 players out on loan, a practice that became a cornerstone of their business model. These players were often sent to smaller clubs, lacking the budget for top talent, allowing them to develop and eventually be sold at a higher value. This aggressive loan strategy didn't escape FIFA's attention. To prevent clubs from monopolizing talent, FIFA introduced new rules limiting the number of loans. Initially, clubs could loan out and bring in a maximum of 8 players. This number has since been reduced to 6. In response to the loan restrictions, the multi-club ownership model emerged as a solution. Red Bull spearheaded this model and operates 5 teams across Europe and the Americas. Manchester City took it to the next level with a global network of 13 affiliated clubs under the City Football Group. Last year, Chelsea followed suit, acquiring a majority stake in French Ligue 1 club Strasbourg, becoming the latest major team to embrace multi-club ownership. This model allows clubs to develop young players who aren't ready for the first team but aren't intended for immediate sale. It also streamlines player movement between clubs with shared approaches to training and development. A prime example is Savinho, who recently joined Manchester City from Girona, another City Football Group affiliate. Other clubs turned to infrastructure to boost revenue. Real Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur invested in multi-purpose stadiums, transforming them into year-round revenue generators. The Bernabeu's renovation turned it into one of Madrid's top attractions. The stadium tour is now the 3rd most popular museum experience in the city. For Tottenham, their London-based stadium hosts concerts and events beyond match days. Acts like Beyoncé and Wizkid have filled the arena, making it a premier entertainment venue. These ventures paid off. In the latest Deloitte Money League report, Real Madrid emerged as the world's richest club, driven by non-football revenue. Tottenham also overtook Chelsea as London's highest-earning club, thanks largely to income from their state-of-the-art stadium. Roman Abramovich's takeover of Chelsea also introduced the private property model of club ownership, with the owner holding the final say in all decisions. This marked a shift from traditional boardroom-led management to a structure where the owner's authority was absolute. Abramovich became notorious for his ruthlessness, frequently sacking managers who failed to deliver. Luis Felipe Scolari lasted just 7 months, while Andre Villas-Boas was dismissed after 8. This cutthroat, results-driven approach set a precedent that many European clubs would later adopt, prioritizing immediate success over long-term stability. Nasser Al-Khelaifi, president of PSG, mirrors this hands-on style. Al-Khelaifi is deeply involved in the club's daily operations, playing a pivotal role in signing players and coaches and personally negotiating key contracts. A more recent example is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who acquired a 25% stake in Manchester United, gaining control over football operations. Ratcliffe quickly made sweeping changes, cutting 250 staff members, dismissing Eric Ten Hag, stripping Sir Alex Ferguson of his ambassadorial role, and raising ticket prices while ending concessions for children and pensioners. His approach reflects the growing influence of owners who aren't afraid to make radical decisions. Abramovich not only revolutionized Chelsea, but reshaped the footballing landscape, paving the way for the mega-rich ownership era that now defines the sport. One of the most successful signings under Roman Abramovich era was Eden Hazard. Watch this video to see how his mentality became his downfall.